The upscale brasserie on the corner of Bayview and 11th had the kind of quiet elegance designed for business mobiles and whispered affairs. That night, a woman with copper-red hair sat poised at a corner booth. Her name was Elena Quinn, and her custom carbon fiber wheelchair gleamed under the pendant lights like a silent testament to battles won but never forgotten. She wore a forest green blazer, her posture perfect, eyes scanning the wine list not because she needed to, but because it was something to do while she waited. Her date was late. Not unusual. But what came next, no one could have expected. The man who finally arrived looked out of place, slicked hair, flashy watch, and the confidence of someone who mistook charm for cruelty. He paused mid-step. "Wait, you're in a wheelchair." His voice was too loud. The room froze. Elena's face didn't change, but her fingers tensed against the tablecloth. "Yes," she replied evenly. "You didn't mention that in your profile." He motioned toward her chair. "Bit of an important detail, don't you think?" Gasps flickered around the restaurant like sparks. A waitress froze. Someone lowered a wine glass with a soft clink. Elena remained still. "If you came for a fantasy," she said calmly, "I'm not it." The man scoffed. "You're right. I thought I was meeting Elena Quinn, the woman on the covers, the biotech queen. Not a pity story." There it was. He knew who she was. And now so did everyone else. Murmurs spread. A phone was raised. Someone whispered, "Is that really her?" Before Elena could reach for her bag, another voice, low, firm, cut through the tension like a blade. "I think that's enough." Every head turned. He stood by the door. Tall, broad shoulders in a worn flannel and faded jeans. His boots were still dusty from work. Cal Walker, a small-town mechanic who had stumbled into something big without knowing it. He walked with quiet purpose toward Elena's table, eyes fixed on her, not the man. "Are you ready to go?" he asked, his tone soft but unwavering. Elena blinked. "Do I know you?" But his gaze held no malice, no pity, just presence. She nodded slowly. Cal turned to the other man. "She deserves better." And just like that, he turned a chair gently and guided her toward the exit. The restaurant remained frozen in a silence deeper than shame. They stepped into the night like it belonged to them. Outside, the scent of ozone and lilac mingled in the post-rain breeze. Cal let go of the chair once they reached the sidewalk. "I'm sorry," he said. "I wasn't trying to interrupt. I just couldn't let that happen." Elena studied him. Oil-stained collar, knuckles scraped, eyes lined with fatigue. "You don't know me." He shrugged. "Didn't need to." A pause. "Elena," she said, extending her hand. He smiled. "Cal, nice to meet you, Elena." She laughed, a surprised, rusty thing. The kind that felt like it had been waiting for her. "I skipped lunch for that disaster," she admitted. He glanced over his shoulder. "Looks like you didn't miss much. But I know a taco truck nearby. Best carnitas in town." She hesitated, then nodded. "Let's go." For the first time in a long time, Elena Quinn followed someone not because she had to, but because she wanted to. The taco truck was tucked between a florist and a bookstore, its glowing string lights casting golden halos over the sidewalk. The scent of lime, sizzling meat, and charred tortillas hung in the air like a warm promise. Cal ordered for them both, 2 tacos al pastor, fried plantains, and bottled hibiscus tea. They sat at a tiny folding table surrounded by mismatched stools and city noise. Elena felt awkward at first. The chair always made simple things complicated. But Cal didn't treat her like she was fragile. When the vendor leaned too far and spilled a trail of sauce on her shoe, she froze. Her heart thumped. She braced for the awkwardness, for Cal to look away or offer a clumsy apology. Instead, he pulled a clean rag from his pocket, the kind a mechanic never left home without, and knelt beside her. "Hold still," he said softly. Before she could speak, he gently wiped the sauce off her leather flat, then adjusted her foot back onto the rest, steady, unbothered, natural. No hesitation. No pity. Just care. Elena's throat tightened. Her eyes stung. "There," he said simply. "Good as new." "It's not just sauce," she whispered. Their eyes met across the rickety table, and for a brief moment, the street noise faded. For the first time in years, Elena felt seen. They met again the next week. Then again, and again. It wasn't grand. It wasn't fast. But it was real. Sometimes it was just a walk. Well, a roll, she joked, through the open-air market, sipping spiced tea while kids chased pigeons. Other days, they sat on a park bench sharing donuts, quiet and unhurried. One evening, they passed a saxophonist playing under the soft glow of a street lamp. Cal dropped a few dollars in his case and asked, "Want to stay a while?" She nodded. They didn't talk much. The music filled the space. But Elena noticed something. Her hands were relaxed in her lap, not clenched, not nervous. She hadn't even noticed letting go. At a festival, Cal brushed powdered sugar from her cheek after a bite of funnel cake. She flinched, out of habit. "Sorry," she said. "I usually hate that. People touching my face like I can't do things myself. But not this time." "No," she said quietly. "Not with you." Later that night, she opened her sketch pad for the first time in 5 years. She drew him. Cal, kneeling by a stalled motorcycle, sleeves rolled up, a wrench in one hand and calm in his eyes. There was no bravado in the sketch, just presence. When she gave it to him, he stared for a long time. "No one's ever drawn me before," he said, voice rough. "Then I'm glad I was the first." 3 weeks later, Cal handed her a crumpled bouquet of roadside wildflowers with a folded note tucked inside. Scrawled in messy handwriting were 7 words. "You deserve to be seen as you." She didn't cry often, but she cried then. The days blurred beautifully after that. Small mornings, shared coffees, a slow dance in the garage with the radio on low. Then one night on Cal's rooftop, she told him about her mother, the music, the memories, the ache of outliving the person who once saw her clearly. And he told her about his past, dropping out of engineering school to raise his nephew when no one else could. The diapers between tire rotations, the sacrifice. Neither felt the need to impress. That's when she realized she'd spent years earning titles, accolades, fear, but never safety. Cal was safety, until he wasn't. Silence. 3 unread texts. 1 cold reply. "I met someone else. You deserve better." It broke her. No punctuation. No warmth. Just absence. Elena shut down. She stopped sketching. Stopped going outside. Stopped trusting the story they had started. But across town, Cal nursed a split lip in the dim back room of his shop. His ribs ached from the punches. He hadn't seen them coming. 2 suits in the alley. No names. Just fists and warnings. Walk away. She doesn't belong to you. And when they said her name, he understood. This wasn't random. It was her father. Douglas Quinn, a legacy builder and control freak. He had found out. Cal hadn't even known who she truly was until someone at the shop showed him an old Forbes cover. "That your girl?" He had smiled and nodded. But something in him had shifted. He didn't belong in her world. And now someone had made that painfully clear. So he did the cruelest thing he could. He lied to protect her. But fate wasn't done with him yet. Elena rolled through the rain without destination. Her cardigan soaked. Her fingers numb. The city blurred around her like an oil painting running in a storm. She didn't know why her wheels led her to Cal's garage, only that her heart had memorized the path. As she turned the final corner, headlights screeched across the slick pavement. A car swerved too fast. She tried to move. The wheel caught. Her breath hitched. And then arms. Familiar. Strong. Warm. Cal. He pulled her clear in one motion, holding her tight. Her heart thundered in her ears. "You left," she whispered, voice shaking. "I thought I was protecting you," he rasped. "Your father sent men. I didn't want you caught in the mess that is me." She shook her head. "You think I needed protection from you? What I needed was the truth." He closed his eyes. "I'm sorry." And then, in the downpour, under a flickering street lamp, she kissed him. Not gracefully, not softly, desperately, honestly. And the world, the cruel, chaotic world, faded. The next day, the grand hallway of the Quinn estate was colder than she remembered. Marble stretched out like a frozen river beneath her wheels. Cal walked beside her. His presence wasn't nervous, it was rooted. At the far end stood her father, stone-faced, silent. "I see you brought him here," Douglas said. "I have," she answered evenly. "Because I want you to look at him when you tell me why I don't deserve love." "You're a Quinn," he snapped. "You don't get to choose comfort over legacy." I didn't choose comfort. I chose truth. He stepped closer. You'd throw away everything you built for this? If that's what it takes, she said. Yes. Cal blinked, startled. But Elena didn't waver. Douglas Quinn's mouth twitched. Then don't expect to walk back through that door. Without a word, Elena turned her chair toward the exit. Cal followed. Outside, the wind smelled of pine and something about terrain. When they reached the end of the gravel drive, she stopped. I didn't give up my life, she said. I walked away from a prison I mistook for a legacy. You gave me the courage to want more than just survival. Cal looked at her. His hand found hers. She held it tightly. I don't need the world, she whispered. I just need you there when I fall apart. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. That night, beneath the old oak tree behind the garage, neighbors strung lights and carried folding chairs. It wasn't a wedding. Not yet. Just a promise. She wore a sleeveless white blouse. He wore his best shirt with a collar that still wrinkled. They toasted with ginger ale. They laughed. Luna, his niece, carried a flower basket made from an old oil filter. Douglas Quinn showed up just before dusk. Not in a suit. In slacks and a sweater. His hair slightly messy. His stance unsure. He walked up to Cal, extended a hand. Love her, he said. It was all he had to give. It was enough. Later, Cal whispered, come with me. He rolled her to a path behind the garage. A quiet beach stretched beyond. Small. Untouched. Are you sure? She asked. He nodded. He helped her stand. The sand was cold. Soft. It clung to her feet like memory. Her legs trembled. His arms steadied her. I haven't felt this in 5 years, she whispered. You don't have to say it, he replied. They stood there. Just the two of them. No cameras. No speeches. Just breath. Skin. Sand. Sky. You caught me when I was falling, she said. And I'll be here every step after. She leaned her forehead to his. I love you. I love you more. The wind rustled. Waves curled toward the shore. And together they took one step forward. No spotlight. No expectations. Just a beginning.